evening. Welcome to After Dark. We're a little bit short tonight. Currently, Kentucky's under tornado watch again, and basically having quick After Dark. If more people show up, we'll have more people here. Hi, Fran. If you're showing up as Facebook user, if you go to let me find that again.
It might be Bossman.
Yeah, if you go to that, you can actually register it so you'll show up with your name. Hello, Region 13, Region 2, and Region 4 checks in. Um, Today we had our ceremony for the Russell Camp. So
We're official. We're a full chapter.
Yep. So, couple other things. We got people working for the VIC in August 13th, I believe.
Yeah, 13th.
And they are working on different stuff. The website's being updated. I'm not going to say the official names of everybody that's going to be here, but I know that they have 4 or 5 guest speakers now, a couple writers, and a couple of them might be from, say, Discovery actors. So they are actually working very hard between the artistic staff and the people going out to try and get talent to actually make this a very entertaining and full VIC. So, and I know that I've shown the I'm trying to find it real quick. I've shown the logo, which I'll pop up. They are actually animating this logo, which here, actually, it looks more like this, to actually look like an active bar style sign. So as soon as that one gets finished and okayed, I'll actually pull it over and pop it up. So, gentlemen, how was your week?
Oh, it's going. How is your week?
Long.
But you are a commissioned ship now, so you know.
Yeah.
No one can take that away from you.
Well, if we don't do our data policies on time and we don't keep up the membership, which is recruitment and retention, they can't. So, and you still have to work once you're commissioned.
You just had to just draw it out and be like, you know, I'm sitting here trying to be positive for you. You're like, oh, they can. I'm like, no, yeah. As I said, family membership for my parents would happen if we dipped below. So,
but it's been fun, and actually, Antonio put together a list to say just how many hours we've done since commissioning, and kind of impressive how many we did.
Yeah, that was an impressive list. It was over 1,000 hours.
About 2,000.
Okay, well, whichever.
And the big thing is one of our goals is we don't want people to die to that 22 a day thing. Mental health is a big thing with us, especially with the vet community. And Drew spends a lot of time trying to get those guys off of the streets and get their benefits. So it just, when you hear the amount of hours total, it's one of those things you don't understand how much you can do as an individual just 1 or 2 days. I'm trying to. John, what do you mean? Who is the advertising?
What advertising?
I don't know.
If you're talking about this streaming banner, this is for our virtual international conference website. Okay.
All right.
Hi, Chris. But it is one of those things, and like I said, volunteering never stops. Who is the admiral? That's
Closest thing we have to an admiral is the fleet captain there.
It's John.
Yeah, it's John.
John the
John
Vampire.
John the Vampire from England is fleet captain, but Steve is the admiral. I know Region 1 right now is doing their election time for RC. They've got 2 guys going for it. So if you're in Region 1, please go check it out. Make sure your captains are sending in nominations. Be part of the making your region great. So Region 12. I don't know who else is in elections right now. I know Region 1 is. So,
Hey, Region 12.
But Steve, right now, he let us know that currently he's up in the mountains under a tornado watch. So, and Fran is previous CS. That is always here, and she loves After Dark, and she interacts with us and keeps us going. So I always thank her for coming in.
Welcome, Fran.
It's always nice to see our wonderful people in the audience interacting with us. It's a good day to interact with us because we have time to get everything.
I believe he's in the mountains of Kentucky, not North Carolina. If that's what you're asking. But like I said, it's a surprise what you can do as a chapter. And keeping record of it. Drew's done a great job getting all the records kept, and I've done one. And just each month getting in those MSRs so that it can be shown. You don't realize what you can do until you get everybody together and say, hey, let's go do something in the community, or let's help out with this project.
When has that stopped you? Steve's got another tornado bearing down on him. Say your prayers.
Steve, okay?
Yeah, but as a first responder, he may be called out. So keep your prayers that nothing touches the ground.
Okay. And I'm tweeting about him.
That's awesome, Paul.
You do that. Go ahead.
It is awesome, Paul.
Region 1 is actually over multiple states, not just North Carolina. It's North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. I have to pull up a map. What is it?
So, it's a bunch of states that they make bourbon and bourbon-like beverages.
But on the website, there is a region map. Kentucky, Indiana, North Carolina, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia.
It's a big region. Not as big as my region, but I only get geography.
You do have that cold up there.
It's true. It's
if
true.
the snow, if the I'm not going to say snow. If the ice touches it, it's your region.
This is
Pretty
true.
much. Although I think Baffin is actually supposed to be in Region 13, but I don't think they have a member there. So I think they get Nunavut and we get the Northwest Territories. But we have lots of cold because we also have Alaska.
We have Alaska. It's a state.
Yes, but it's in my region.
Yes, and it shares your ice.
It's
Been there too.
The one
I've been
thing,
to
Paul,
Alaska.
I don't. They can't copy and paste it out of the video, but if you go to the comments, Paul's linking a article that I believe that he wrote.
Oh, that's cool. New England.
But like I said, I've been enjoying helping out with the planning of the VIC to see what's going on. They do have a couple scientists that are going to be doing a panel, a couple writers, couple actors and actresses, and it's just the work that people have been doing so far, just between the graphics and the basic planning of it, is pretty amazing. So hopefully everything goes as planned and we have a great VIC where everybody can interact, because he's just presenting new information on it. Okay, thank you, Paul. But check out the website if you want to volunteer and help out. I know that they're still looking for people. They're going to be looking for people to be what is that called? Where you watch the chat room. Moderators, yeah.
Moderators.
Thank you. On the day, because even with the people that are already working, we'll be running live chats, making sure things are going correctly, and having those one or two people in a chat room to keep everything flowing, so that some minor disturbance doesn't mess it up for everybody.
Oh, I am familiar. I do it for other things.
Yes, and remember our delicious IC when this COVID thing first started, and they had those unique things suddenly pop up on screen.
I thought that just happened at the church functions.
No, we got a lot of. Some people were really in love with the phallic symbol. Let me tell you that.
I got to miss a good chunk of that, so
Lucky duck, boy. It was my first IC. I thought this is going to be great, and the next thing I know, I'm like, "What the?" And Tori was sitting here. What's that? Moving on.
Where's Artemis launching from?
It looks like lunching, actually. Can I get a corned beef and on rye, please? That'd be a great
I'd like
lunch.
some
Thank
corned
you.
beef and cabbage with
Right.
grilled potatoes, please.
Cabbage, cook. Someone
Hey,
cooking cabbage can drive me from a house.
Okay. NASA has Texas, Kennedy, and I believe one in California. Which launch facility is it going off at? I am not posting that, John. What's up, Tim and Kid?
Cadet Abby and Pepper.
Wait. Sean, it's after dark. Why can't you
Shut
post
up.
John's?
Still not. Let's
I am
not
still
encourage.
not posting that one.
So I heard you guys were talking about that one IC with the picture and all that. Well, when you mentioned the picture, somebody that acts like one has to be here.
Well,
Not like we
welcome,
were
Tim.
calling you, Tim, but welcome.
Uh-huh.
You got my number, brother. If you ever need to just scream, call me.
So as far as going over to NASA, I don't have the time, but if I know when it's going to launch, I'll step out the door, turn to the east, and go, "Hey, I see it."
Yeah, that's what most people don't realize. We can see it.
I got to see Atlantis, Endeavour, and Discovery launch at the space station. When I was in high school, you could literally send an mail to launch facilities saying you would like a ticket. And basically on the day of the launch that it's supposed to happen, you would take that ticket and put it in your window, drive over to the causeway, park, and you were about 3 to 5 miles from the launch pad. On the day when Discovery initially launched on their maiden flight, I was actually 2 miles from the launch pad because we were at the tail end, and it was like you could feel the rumbling as they kicked the engines off. We were so close. So it was an amazing thing to do, and I highly say, hey, if you can get a launch pad permission, or when it's going to go off and pay for a VIP pass, go. It's a once in a lifetime situation that you can never truly understand what it's like. But I've seen so many others. I've seen when they've launched the Atlas rocket program. I've seen a couple Saturns go off. I don't remember why I didn't actually see Kirk get launched into space. I think I was
See,
sleeping.
that's why I stopped watching any kind of space stuff and everything, because they sent him up, but they brought him back.
Well, that thing that was done at that IC, they launched him in one of those. It looked just
I was
like
just going to say earlier, is like you could just say now if that ever happens again, that's just a caricature of his rocket.
true. But like I said, I remember seeing the Endeavor's first launch, and also I was at the Cape Canaveral on the last launch of the shuttle program. And just when they said it was going to be the last shuttle, I was just like, oh, my heart broke, because that was the one thing I loved doing as a kid, was driving over there and just watching these amazing people get shot into space. So if I see the time and I'm actually awake, I will definitely look over there. Yes, and there's pictures of it too, John. They posted pictures from, I believe, the new TV show was showing the new Kirk, and his badge is not the Enterprise's badge.
Looks vaguely like the USS Republic. Is what I keep seeing, but I'd have to go and search for the whole thing. And of course, there's always people like pointing fingers and going like, "Oh, but that was a production error." Leave it alone.
Yeah, but it's in the mythology, though. I mean, you kind of have to go with it then.
Wasn't it? Somebody said it was the Ferris or something like that.
Farragut?
Farragut. Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, maybe.
If you look at the badge that the new Kirk is wearing, it's the badge for a different ship. I believe somebody said it was the Farragut.
It's off kilter in the shot too, so it's not. We don't get a square on. We get like from the side kind of thing, like this. So it's a little hard to identify as it is. But I'm sure it'll be good because that's that is the show that they basically, it's going to be episodic. You're not going to have to follow big long chains of events. It's going to be or the way I have seen it written about. It's supposed to be basically as much like Toss as anything has been since. So.
She's looking at the camera. Look at her.
At least it's the right direction this time. Is that Benji?
No, this is Pepper.
Oh,
Benji's somewhere else right now.
Benji's over on my side.
I was fixing to say Benji doesn't put the face towards the camera.
He who walks on his shows the butthole.
That is a thing.
So, Artemis, it doesn't get an exact date, but they are selling tickets for the launch.
Okay.
Well, Kirk started aboard the Farragut.
It's true.
He was on the Republic as a midshipman.
It's also true.
Yeah, but if he started on the Farragut, he wasn't a commanding officer there, was he?
No.
Yeah,
Not supposedly. He was supposed to be a lieutenant.
but it was a
It's quirky because it's supposed to be like. I know I read somebody mention it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere where Kirk, the Enterprise was Kirk's second command.
because he's supposed to have been in command of a destroyer.
Who knows?
Donnie, you forgot to say hi to Pepper.
His first command was a escort.
Yeah,
That's fair.
His first true starship that he commanded was the Enterprise.
It's one of those things that J.J. Abrams went, oh, we'll put him on the Enterprise, and everybody ahead of him dies. Now you're the commander. Have
Pretty
fun.
much.
Yeah, well, I mean, let us not go with Abrams. It goes nowhere pleasant. Yeah, I
I'd be
mean,
interested to see though how Abrams is going to deal with the Chekhov scenario.
well, he's going to be dead, or he's not going to be mentioned. One of the two,
Transferred over to the Reliant already.
possibly.
Well, actually, are they doing another Abrams movie? Because
They
talking
keep
about
threatening it. They keep
Hey.
threatening about it.
Threaten it, but I think he's tired of having fans say, "You worthless piece of crap."
Well, then you have to actually put out a good Trek movie.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that. However,
He
I
has to
do
do
have to
something
say,
better. He has to do something better because after ruining his credibility of being a director and everything for making that Star Wars crap.
Gene is spinning in his grave because of that statement.
maybe he'll make Firefly next.
Oh,
Now you and the ruin everything there.
God.
Well, they are doing a remake on Firefly. They
Remake
started
or continuing?
Can I? Sure. All right. I'll believe it when it happens because I've heard that story 6 times. So
I'm actually looking forward to them actually getting SG-1 again,
May I share something?
or Atlantis. Go ahead.
There it is. You'll bring it up. You got Enterprise, Constellation, Exeter, Intrepid, Republic, Hood, Excalibur, Constitution. There's the Farragut's badge. That's the original series.
Yeah.
Each ship had their own logo.
Now there was one that I was watching though too, and it still looked different though.
well, I don't think that's exhaustive.
Because if you look down, there's a bunch of more badges below it.
Yeah, they've done.
Click on that white one.
Is this one?
There's that. Yeah. I mean, there are 20 in STO even. So
And then
It
in
was like
TNG,
900.
every ship captain had a different uniform.
Pretty much. But
that's wardrobe.
Gene Roddenberry said in the oh god, an interview he had done that each ship had its own logo, just like every ship in our military has. Every vessel has its own logo. Every strike force, every team, and it was picked by the captain. The only thing that really meant Starfleet was that star.
Or the boomerang, as they call it.
Yeah. hmm So, and everybody else did, and the COs did what they wanted. And a couple of them just said, I don't want the star on it at all. I don't care if people know we're in Starfleet. They'll kind of get the clue when they see whoosh, something pop in.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, there's militaries go through changes, do things, amalgamate, de-amalgamate. It's going to be like that. Uniforms change.
There's that one.
I mean, you only have to look at U.S. uniforms in the World War II period, where almost everybody is wearing the same color. When they're not talking about dress uniforms, but when they're talking about like their duty uniforms, it's like all the officers are wearing some sort of khaki.
Is
There
Donnie
is that.
talking about either of those actors being cast as Kirk instead, or it's just still cut off? That's what I was waiting to see.
There's so many options going on at the moment here, saying that's what he's going to be, but with Hollyweird, they can change it tomorrow.
It's true.
Well,
I have
look
to
what
agree with
happened
you.
with Voyager.
Can we just have Jewel Straight in at least one episode so that we have her in 3 of the major sci-fi things?
Yes, please. Oh,
Yes.
you weren't asking me? Oh, sorry.
It doesn't matter. I agree. I agree. Can we have that? Because that'd be great. She's awesome on TikTok.
Oh yeah, she just joined and she actually interacts with everybody.
I'm hoping next year she'll come to our con.
That would be cool if we could get her on. But like I said, there are certain actors and actresses that they're in it for the fame and the money, and then they stop talking to people, and she is definitely not one of them.
Nope.
Like Shatner. Oh, segue.
That's true. I was at least appreciative that he didn't have bad things to say about the gentleman picking up his mantle this time around. Because, Shatner is not always the most tactful individual sometimes.
No.
I know, shocking.
Shatner's is exactly like the rocket he went up on.
Yeah, it's true. Ironically, he's going to be here in Calgary for our con.
He's supposed to be coming through for one here in St. Louis too.
Yeah, so
I could care less. I'm not
Sure.
paying $140 for a photo op with him.
Yeah, I have to admit, so for Trek in Calgary for the Calgary Expo coming up in April, we also have Data and Q.
That's going to be awesome.
The most expensive of those two people is $75 for a photo op.
That's not bad.
Be Brent
Considering.
Canadian.
Oh wait, that would be Delancey.
It is Delancey. Yeah.
Because
It's $70 or 75. It's $70.
Doing the math, because he's like charging like 60 or 65 for here. So when you said Canadian, I just added it more and everything and took a guess.
Yeah, I think Delancey is going to be cheap. But the fact that you can get them both for $135.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean,
if anybody missed it, he's actually on a committee to help with veterans buildings
Oh, awesome.
to make sure that they get updated better.
That's great.
Anytime that you can get in there and help with vets or the homeless or whatever, even when you're not being paid, it's an amazing thing.
No, I am looking forward to the con. I don't know if we're gonna actually get to see um Brent, because the con before COVID we had Ethan Peck and Aston Mont. Sorry, I butchered it. It's late. They both came to our table.
Hey, we wouldn't blame you anyway. You're Canadian, so you know we know you mess it all up anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
because we have a problem with you in Canada.
Uh-huh.
You gave us Shatner.
Yeah, that's right. We're not taking him back either. Bury that son of a bitch. It's not our problem anymore.
Yes, but didn't they also give us Richard Dean Anderson?
It's true.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure we could do better. Like, I'm sure we can find you a better list of people we've given you that are good, as
They've given us
opposed to
Rodney,
who we saddled you with, like Celine Dion.
You ain't got enough to compare, to make up for the Shatner. Okay.
Come on. Let's not hit Bill too hard.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll knock off his toupee.
Well, that, and you've got to remember, actually, he's a classic Shakespearean, and regular acting and classic Shakespearean, they're two entirely different schools.
Well, he
To
was
pull
there
it
when
off.
Shakespeare wrote everything. So
I mean,
That's not true. We weren't in class at all, ever. We never shared a class.
I mean, to be perfectly honest here, Patrick Stewart is like Royal Shakespearean Company, so Trump.
real quick, guys,
Yes,
I
but-
forgot to plug in the laptop, and it's going to die. And she probably needs to get some rest anyway, though, too. So we'll say bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, kid.
Bye. Thank you for stopping by. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, the Shakespearean Company.
This is true. But he also did other acting, which alters the perspective.
I don't know who said it, but Facebook user said Canada gave us Ryan Reynolds as well.
Yeah, but I think he lives half the time in Vancouver, so.
You can't claim. That's like saying, hey, yeah, they're in California. Come on, it's Canada, one way or the other.
Well, I was making the point that he still sort of lives here.
What a lot of people, especially U.S. Americans, don't know is there's a large Canadian broadcasting and production area in Canada. And yeah, where are you going to get your extras? From Canada or from California if you're filming in Canada? So let's get the cast that live closer.
I know several.
Can I go way out on a limb here?
Sure.
Canada gave us Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Continuous, Stargate Universe. They did it all.
A member of my crew used to live where they filmed Stargate.
Hey, Jerry is just making that list worse for us.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's lots of Star Trek. Like Greg makes a good point about there being Star Trek people from Canada, right?
No, well, we also said, as he said, almost all the cast of Stargate, who's supposed to be a United States Air Force group, is Canadian. The whole cast.
And English. Like it's English one as well.
Shot in Kamloops. But I mean, they did X-Files here for years too.
Mhm.
So I can't say that Canada doesn't produce amazing sci-fi.
I don't think Christopher Lloyd will be the first actor. I think there are people, or since Brent Spiner. I don't know. I'd have to look at that again. It'll be interesting to see what Christopher Lloyd does, because the last time he went and did science, or the last time he went into a major series, he went and played really against his type. Because he played a Klingon captain and was absolutely vicious. And you were like, that's Christopher Lloyd? So
Simon Pegg, Brett Spiner, George Takei, Deep Roy, Greg Gundry. There's plenty that have been in both.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking it was going to be special. But.
They also gave us the Twilight Zone, the Outer Limits, latter part of the shows. They were all filmed in Canada.
And there's lots of stuff that's like not sci-fi that's also filmed here. Winona, or what is it? Is it Winona Earp? It's filmed outside of here in Calgary.
That is sci-fi.
It is sci-fi, but yeah.
Because it's a modern day version of Wyatt Earp.
Oh,
okay.
As she inherited his spirit and his gun.
Ooh.
Wait, she's carrying around a 13-inch blunt line? Single action Colt? Jesus Christ.
So much for flirting with her next time you're at the bar, huh?
Yeah. All right.
What'd you say to me, big fella?
Yeah. Okay. We won't talk about the checkbox that is. Okay.
There you go.
1.21 gigawatts. I don't know. Well, in Ontario we have nuclear reactors and we have hydroelectric in BC. So,
I don't know if we have hydroelectric in Florida.
It takes some doing.
We don't really have anything high enough to call a waterfall.
Well, no, hydroelectric can be done in waves.
Well, yes, I know, but the primary method is to use gravity, and we don't have enough spots to generate that kind of gravity.
But we do have nuclear.
Further north, I think Florida does have a couple of smaller ones. But I think they feed Georgia. They just pull our water.
You sound like Quebec.
You pull our water.
Go back.
Yeah, there are 2 small hydroelectric plants in North Florida. I'll be damned.
I didn't know they were both still running. They used to be.
You don't need a huge drop, but you need some sort of drop. Because Whitehorse has hydroelectric, but the drop.
Well, you can construct the drop just by building a dam,
or we could just, do like Norway. I think it is. Is Norway along the coast that has the hydroelectric, the lifting buoys?
Yeah.
That basically the waves cause the buoys to actually spin the.
And Holland
turbine.
uses wind-generated power to run water pumps, which force hydroelectric. When they were
I
using
beg to differ. We do have hills. I'm sitting on the top of a hill right now in Florida.
You and me both.
If you go north of Drew about 25 minutes or so, you find a dip that's pretty significant. It's the only area in Central Florida that has hills like that.
Yeah.
And you don't know it until you're driving in a stick shift truck with a trailer on the back that it's actually a hill.
That is a hell of a way to learn.
I mean, I sit at the foothills of the Rockies, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, Jerry, tidal wave.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'll be perfectly honest. I am probably sitting right now in, significantly higher than any place in Florida.
No, let's see.
I think,
Some parts of Florida have a 0.
yeah. Zero.
Some parts of Florida have, I think it's 1,500, 1,400.
Oh, that's only the highest natural point in Florida. The highest point in Florida is Bach Tower, which is
Well,
about 20 minutes up the road.
we have a mean elevation, if they leveled them all off, of 100 feet. Interesting.
And of
Okay.
course, to do Bach Tower, what they did was they shipped in 40,000 truckloads of dirt from like Tennessee or North Carolina.
Or Georgia, red clay to hold it all, to bind the shit.
Okay, so apparently Calgary is 3,428 feet above sea level.
Yes, dear, we know.
It's fair, Drew. I can't say that that's wrong. I mean, in all seriousness, I really can't.
However, if I were to come to where you live, I might be wheezing. Not used to the elevations.
That's legitimate. I mean, it's easier to go one way than it is to go the other. So
No tidal waves for Calgary.
we were getting ready. We were getting ready for one of the shows, and Sean came over in the morning. He was sitting in our recliner, and I guess the angle was wrong, but the noise he made frightened my wife. She was like, "Do we have to call an ambulance?" I said, "No, he just needs to move his neck back so oxygen gets in there." Because he literally just went. So,
yeah. I used to lark with a guy who could literally sleep standing up and snore. And I'm like, I literally we watched him, and it was like he could do this while standing, and he would snore, and he would not be aware. Like, we tested this. And then he would just like sort of, gas wait, and that would force his wake up. But like we watched him sleep for about 15 minutes just standing up.
Mike, you're not far off. I remember driving through some of the towns during hurricane season and watching the water come up the roads. Yeah, that's no fun. Tampa Bay, the one time where the water pulled out almost 300 feet, and the people were walking on the dry area. I'm going, that's not a good idea. The next thing that happens is a tidal wave, and you all are dead. And that was on the news. I'm like, you are idiots.
Well, no shortage of that anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing I think is funny is like the last hurricane. It went through Tampa, and no, it was not the last one. The one before that, and everybody was screaming, and our families was calling us and texting us, "Are you moving out? Are you moving out? Are you moving out?" We're like, "No." They're like, "Why?" Well, the tornadoes, the hurricanes coming. You're going to get blown away. You're going to. We're like, it's 95 degrees, no wind, no nothing, and we're sitting at the pool for Tori's Special Olympics. What? We had to send video. And my
Well-
brother-in-law was the one I had to laugh. He actually went historically. And he was like, "Oh, well, you guys got hit by this one. You got a long time before you really get hit by one. You'll just get like wind and some rain." Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Well,
X number of centuries worth of history there.
believe it or not, knowing the science and what it works in different areas is how Starfleet will come about. Because without the ability to generate power in other ways and be able to reprocess water, you won't be able to live on a ship. So these technologies actually work together. Solar panels are just one of the ways that our what are those called? Probes have been able to make it as far as they have. So those solar panels, a lot of them were tested right here in Florida.
Yep. So were the batteries.
A couple of those blew up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. John is right. Narcolepsy is a thing. I know that.
It's a very big thing.
Greg has
Chris,
a point, and if the wonderful audience would provide us with a topic, we will gladly come to that topic.
I just have to point out, just like you don't go up to a police officer that's working the night shift and say, "Hope you have a quiet night." Really?
Starfleet things. Good, 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 good.
But we
How
were
about
talking.
recruiting and retention,
can,
especially now?
can we do something fun first? Come back to that.
Well, me and Drew are going to be building a Defiant style transporter pad for
Sci-fi
next year's
Barco.
Sci-Fi Bartow, which is going to be Star Trek themed. Yes, but you don't wish them a quiet night. If you wish them a quiet night, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, it's hubris. It triggers hubris. Dad, have a quiet night, you bastard. I've heard that conversation.
Yes.
I was
After-
5, but
After Dark is basically our talk about anything, but we do talk about sci-fi and Star Trek as well, as we began with.
Yes.
But we are we've already got the plan. We're either going to do a PVC frame with some PVC wall panels, the
Corrugated
corrugated
PVC.
wall panels. To do the walls, we're going to make the circular top and bottom with LEDs on top, battery powered. And
It
then,
just won't be raised. It'll be on the ground, so that we
Yeah.
can weight it.
and then once it's done, people can go stand on the transporter pad, and we'll have somebody in uniform behind
Standing
the
at
control
a
pad,
console.
and we're going to get with our nice little printer, Stacy's Printing, and we're going to offer to take the pictures and have them professionally printed so that they could have an actual, hey, here's you from the Starfleet International photo if they want, or they can take their own.
sounds good.
So, and we are setting it up so that the individual chapters don't have to go out and get separate booths, because one of the things that we found out was the runner didn't know that we were all the same group. We had 3 different booths and didn't
Four
know
different
that
books.
we do community service, didn't know we were all the same group. So we were spread out along a city block where we could have all been together and actually had one big area.
it'll be really nice to have some sort of photo op that isn't a chair.
Yes.
That's why we were like, we got to do a transporter. And then the other thing is we're going to work with the Klingon Assault Group, which we had on the last show, and make a gel cell so that we can have people pay to have people locked up for a certain sum, and that sum will go to charity. And that way we can go and the sci-fi arrest people and bring them to the jail cell to raise money for the charities.
The brig.
Yeah, we're gonna put him in the brig and hold him there.
Brig.
You
Don't
know,
call it
we
jail.
could always
It's a brig.
get Grady to bring over his actual portable gel cell.
I'm already talking to him.
Me and Drew both know have talked to the sheriff a few times at different events, so it's one of those things. It's nice to be on good terms with him.
That and he calls himself my daughter's #1 fan. I've practically heard Steve say that, and I would love to get those two men in a room together to discuss it.
Oh, and we're planning on recreating the signing of the accords where the two people get assassinated.
No, they're just attempts. They don't actually get nailed.
I'm sure somebody's going to get shot.
Nah.
Your wife's going to shoot Steve. I already know it.
Well, that's perfectly up to.
It's just that we're gonna use Nerf guns,
Yeah.
bum shots. I sent you something.
I already got it.
Okay, that's for that's the event. Come on, SFI, we're gonna need you. Because the 501st this year was the smallest group I've ever seen there, and there was probably only about 90. And we had, SFI had like 8. We can do better.
We had more than 8.
We had some that walked past, but that not working.
Haven had 10 by themselves.
But they weren't all working it. They kept walking away, and they stayed away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But we're also laying it out so that we can actually have some fun while we're there. And remember, fun is important.
But considering it was through 4 different chapters, one chapter had 2 people, one person had actually one chapter had 1 person, and then there was 4 of us from it was definitely more than 8, Drew, because there was 4 of us from our chapter, and then the other chapter had 3 that were in the booth the whole time. So
it's just you and I.
Plus the people that stopped by, there was, I want to say, a total of 20 from SFI were at the con.
Yeah, but at the con and doing the fun.
But we would like to actually have it be where we could do patrols and play around with messing with the 501st a little bit more, because regularly the Klingons go up to them and get in fights with them. So, it's not true fights, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we understand. I keep meaning to get our group to do a fight with the 501st.
Although I gotta say, the rifle that Drew made was a hit, we had a bunch of Mandalorians came over and looked at it because they had never seen an actual Star Trek rifle made.
Yeah.
So a lot of theirs are the foam rubber or the foam modeling foam.
Yes.
So they're very light. They came over and actually checked ours out and were pretty impressed.
Oh wow, this is so cool. Blah blah blah. Okay.
I am glad to hear that, Paul. You're working on a chapter in Toronto. I used to live in Toronto, so I know it's sometimes hard. I like the U.S. Juno Beach.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
When we were doing the Chinook, it became down. The two names at that time were the Chinook, and which one, but the other one was the Vimy Ridge, or as I refer to it, our colony in France.
Oh.
And Paul, if you ever need any help with filling out that paperwork,
Hit us up.
hit us up. Send Drew a message because when the paperwork was done for ours, pretty much everybody that saw it were like, "Okay, we don't have to touch anything." So we can definitely help you fill out the information and find it. That's Region 13, right?
Toronto will be Region 13, yeah. So that'd be
that means you got Rob, and Rob is awesome.
Rob is awesome, yes.
Because we actually talk to him all the time, him and Aaron, and between them and us, you'll be able to get launched pretty quickly. The main thing is getting the 5 people together to start get you into Shakedown.
Actually, the key that I found is remember your 5, but focus on your first 10. Because that 10 is going to keep you in space.
Yep.
And if you have family members, go, okay, I've got this one. Okay, I'm counting you, and regardless of anything else, don't count those 2.
And
that way you will always have that 10 regardless.
And make friends with the comic book or the gaming shops. Find yourself local print shops, stuff like that, where you can actually talk to them. And that way, when you're going around, the people that you use for your making your cards or whatever else, those are people that you want to let other people know, hey, this is who I use, because the better the business the people you use have, especially if it's a local person, the better deals that they give you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, it's one of those things of Drew's gone around and made friends with local vendors, and those local vendors have produced stuff for as soon as it comes on SFI as a whole. You know, was that's the he hasn't been on to let us know if he's gotten the patches yet or not. But those vinyl patches were actually made probably 15 minutes from Drew's house.
Okay.
So it's one of those things, you never know what you have until you start going around and talking to them. And who knows, they might be your best recruits because somebody has a Star Trek background in their family. So if it's them, go, hey, we can set you up with a membership and you can actually do stuff with this. You know, it's one of those things of, huh?
I think that's supposed to say Bruno. John's trolling us. Do we talk about Bruno? He's just trolling us.
Bruno.
Speak to Greg's point about, like turnout set specific cons. I mean, that's always going to be individual, right? That's always going to be, not everybody can go to this con or that con. And I mean, the one thing about Starfleet, we're a relatively easy organization to get into. We have a very reasonable membership. We do so much with the passing our information along electronically so that we don't have the overhead some of the other clubs have. So that means we have members that, live in circumstances that are not always going to allow them to go to Vegas for a con or something like that. A lot of people do local cons, and there are lots of local cons that go to. Not everybody wants to go to, Star Trek Vegas or Las
Well,
Vegas or whatever they call the con there. Or in a similar vein to, not everybody goes to Star Wars Celebration. Or what? Or John, what's that? What's the one in Birmingham?
Well, it's in London. It's in London. It's Destination Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big.
So we live in Florida, and I'm going to say this. I believe, was that Universal that had? No. Universal, we went to go meet up with some people. The parking was almost $30. If we had gone into the park, that's another $100. Unfortunately, some of these cons have gotten very expensive. I would love to go to every con. However, we have in Florida, I looked it up, every weekend from January 1st to September 1st, no, 13th, there are 3 to 5 cons in Florida. And of those, the major cities have at least 2 every month. So either Miami, Orlando, or Tampa, or Jacksonville has a con. If I were to go there, I would need 2 more. Did StreamYard just crash?
Nope, not on our side.
No.
Oh, mine says not responding. Oh, there it is. But I would need 3 more jobs to be able to go to all the cons in Florida alone.
Okay, so Greg's re-highlighted his point, and it was like there wasn't an organization of meetup. And I'm like, whose responsibility should that be? Like, does the fleet need to do it? Some of us will agree that maybe the fleet does need to do it. Does the local chapter need to do it?
Absolutely.
Maybe the region. I don't know who. I don't have an easy answer for you, Greg, because I don't think we have a chapter in Vegas. Do we have a chapter in Vegas?
Not anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
Pegasus.
first line of defense would be like
Brian Murphy is the commanding officer.
Oh, okay, there is.
There we are.
The USS Las Vegas is no longer in SFI.
Okay. So, I mean, somebody always has to step up to do it, whether it's going to be fleet, if it's going to be region, or it's going to be chapter. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes that's not going to happen. It's unfortunate when it happens, but that's the way. I mean, lots of fan organizations have trouble at various points in time doing things together because someone didn't
That's a
step
lack
up.
of communication, and everyone says, "Okay, somebody didn't step up." Well, I'm looking at it this way: this is almost a year from now. There is no reason why we can't tell you this is going to happen. If you want to be here, come. We will be there when we get more information. When we know when the map is produced, and we know where we're going to be. It will be on this program. It will be on members only. It will be business only, as a matter of fact, business as well, because it is a business. We need to get together to show that we are united.
So,
Which is fair. I mean, and
I'm taking that as a personal responsibility to do it. And if somebody's going to, let's say, MegaCon
see you, Paul.
Toronto, well, they need to say, okay, you can meet me here, but start a week or 2 or 3 in advance. Meet me here at the con, and we will go in together.
So here's the other thing. We did a live broadcast from Bartow. It wasn't perfect, but we were testing it out to see if it's available.
Yeah, sure.
So if you are going to have a booth at a con, you pull up the chapter list in your area and contact all the chapters and say, hey, I got a booth already. If you want to come and share and do some recruiting out of it, you as the person in that area that already is going can actually make that meetup happen by actually reaching out. Drew talked to the Andromeda's captain from Tampa Bay area. We talked to the Haven because they had a booth, and we said, hey, if you need help, we'll come out and help you out and hang out if you don't mind. And then the Earhart
We helped
had
them
a
out.
booth, and we didn't know that they were coming out because
And they placed them like way down at the end of the block. We were right here, like the third and fourth booths, and then they placed the Earhart like four down.
so the day of the con, while I'm driving us there to get everything set up, Drew's actually talking to the 2 chapters that we knew were going to be there to make sure we could get anything set up. So once we got there, those 2 chapters, we actually were helping to set up their booth and get stuff set so that once they came, all they had to do is put their stuff out and they were good.
Yeah, we were uniting SFI.
So-
I mean, we are a club. We are responsible for each other. We're supposed to.
But the thing was that you had somebody to be boots on the ground to be able to do that.
Yeah, it was us.
So I realize it was you, but like, you know what I mean? Like because I'm looking at Greg's comment, his further comment about Vegas, and I'm like, yeah, Fleet can do something, but they'll still need a person with boots on the ground in Las Vegas to do the organizing, to communicate with people.
Well, actually,
So here's my thing.
Communication more than anything else, because we never would have had anything at Sci-Fi Bartow, because that's an excellent example. If we hadn't gone out and started tapping on shoulders, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we help you with this? Can we help you? Long before the event.
Yeah.
Over a month and a half before the event, we knew where we were going. We knew what we were going to do, and we were basically had an idea how we were going to help if it was needed. And we didn't know if it was going to be one person showing up or 5.
So the big thing is if you want to go to Vegas and you want to set up a booth, first of all, start with your local chapter. Go, hey, I'm going to go. Anybody else want to go? Do you want to get a booth? Yes, no. Okay, you got a booth? Contact another chapter. Hey, we got a booth. Would you like to split the cost and recruit together or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I've got like.
But here's the other thing: is if you're going to a con a couple months out, come on to After Dark. We do it every first and third week. You can talk about it. You can post it on here, and you can also post it.
Sean, I sent Greg the link too, by the way.
Okay.
John, Daniel, Thomas, yes, we do know CAG.
He is definitely trolling, and I'm laughing. Sorry, that caught me.
That's okay.
Because he's been here since the beginning, so I know we already talked about it. But come on, talk to it on here. Put up a post recruiting people to go with you. And
yeah, I mean, like, we're having a regional meeting, right, tomorrow that will involve that for us, for our local con. So, because the Cerberus said they're going to come down to help us out, so we need to coordinate that. But we have Greg now.
Hello, good day from
He
Australia.
can actually
Wow.
say
I can defend
what he means.
myself.
You can defend yourself.
But you're in Australia.
I'm not trying to attack you, by the way, Greg.
I can understand.
trying to talk it through.
Australians and Canadians were like brothers,
But
there's so little communication, actually.
I'm impressed with Australia's setups because they have some amazing setups for their cons.
Yes, they do.
Well, the thing is, down here, each chapter pretty much has a city to themselves.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my
Similar
chapter
to
has
our
Sydney.
region.
My chapter has Sydney. Southern Cross has Melbourne. Parallax has Brisbane. We have the Animus, which pretty much has Canberra, like the capital of Australia.
Yeah, Canberra region.
There's USS Adelaide and Adelaide. So like everyone has their own city. So there's really
Right.
no competition city-wise. There's competition maybe between chapters when it comes to Corey stuff. But outside of that, like every chapter has their own city. And the only time I would actually share a chapter, like an event, would be with the Animus because they're only like a few hours south of us.
Right.
And Sydney tends to have all the big conventions and they can drive up. But outside of that, there's really ever an opportunity for like two chapters to get together and do anything. Everyone's
what
too
I
damn
like-
far away. Like as
What I
our Canadian friends know, like the nearest chapter is like could be 1,000 k's away.
Well, it's like I've heard the Australian chapters and the Canadian chapters also
Hello,
will
Fran.
reach out to others and say, "Hey, we're doing this. Come on down."
Well,
Or
they
come
can
on
just-
up.
Yeah.
Listen,
You know,
I'm sure every chapter in Australia will be like, hey, if you guys want to come down, go for it. But it'll
Right.
be 1,000-kilometer drive.
right.
So we're not going to really do it.
The thing is, you have that open line of communication
Yeah.
where a lot of in the States, and it's not deliberate, it's just human nature.
Yep.
Especially here, we've forgotten to reach out and communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. That is a massive deal, that communication.
Well, I mean, down under, like, I think we only have 6 chapters. I have to double check, but all the captains are in our own little Facebook, chat group, so we can all keep in touch with each other. We've got the RC in there, so it's all 6 of us in the RC, so it's easy to go, hey, what's going on, guys? Or I have an issue with you. I got beef, and we need to discuss something.
Yes. CAG and SFI will work together.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there are some members of some people that are a member of both groups at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a member of 501st as well.
But I mean, we've had CAG out we've met them in Vulcan with the Chinook. That tends to be where we meet because they don't actually have a ship in Calgary. So
yeah. Now, what I was saying earlier about Vegas is at least a couple of years ago, I remember one of the newer Starfleet members were saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. I went to the Vegas thing and I couldn't find any Starfleet members. What's going on? Like, they were pretty upset that for a club like us, why didn't we have something organized for all the persons visiting Vegas to go say, hey, I want to meet, let's have a little Starfleet get together. Nothing was organized. So it was like, oh, I only randomly bumped into somebody and then they said they were part of Starfleet, and that's how I found out.
I am going to say.
So I get what they're saying. We need to get our crap together, and maybe next time, the next one coming up, somebody says, hey, who's going to Vegas? Oh, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas. Okay, we got like 20 people going to Vegas. Let's meet.
Well, I mean,
the only downside to Vegas, though, I
It's just-
understand doing a
That's what I'm
meetup.
saying. It's just
Having
what
a
I'm.
booth there.
Well, that's not going to happen. Yeah,
How?
unless Starfleet wants to drop some fat, change on that. It would be good for recruiting purposes, but
maybe not.
But in the case
It's a
of
gamble.
this was more of a case of the member being kind of annoyed that SFI didn't really plan anything to say, hey, like it wasn't about people affording to go to Vegas. It's about I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Can I meet some fellow SFI members? Who's going? And then we could start a chat or create an event in the SFI group saying, I'm going to Vegas. Are you going? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's go meet. Let's plan to meet at this time at 9 o'clock a.m. or whatever in front of the big Delta in the middle of the lobby and take a group photo or something.
Oh, I don't disagree with that, but I mean,
That was the
someone
member's
has
complaint.
to be boots on the ground for that. So,
Well, that's what I mean. No one organized it. That's the problem. They made us look bad as SFI, like for not having something in place.
Well,
And of course, some of the members are like too new to SFI. They're not going to like, what can I do? What's my limitations? Is an admiral going to kick me in the ass if I say, hey, I want to plan this?
well, there's
They don't know that. They don't know. Well, generally, probably go for it, man. Do it. That's great. Be proactive. Go for it.
it's always going to be challenging, and it's gonna
Yeah, some members won't.
Unless you're going to
Yeah.
have some
members won't
EC
rise up
person
and
be
plan
in
it.
charge of it.
That's what I mean. Some members won't rise up in fear of repercussions from the Admiralty. You know,
Whoa.
and it's not true. No, but some people are like that. They're introverts. They're not going to be extroverted.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to plan this. It's
Yeah,
more
I
like,
mean-
I'll go, but someone else plans it. I'm scared to speak up.
Well, and
You know, I don't like crowds or something like that. I don't know. Whatever reason, they don't rise to the challenge and plan it themselves. You know, they want someone else to do it.
there's always going to be. I will take the lessons of
Yeah, we're
My
never going to.
my own region.
Yeah.
Because we always toyed, and they did it for 20, like basically, probably longer than Paul Reed was RC. So more than 25 years with having a regional conference. And it wasn't till I sat there in a meeting that I was invited to as an XO and said, and I knew, by the way, I unlike some people, knew that I was going to be voluntold to do it because I said it.
Yep.
But I sat there and said, why don't you run a virtual?
Yeah.
And very predictably, the RC, Paul Reed, sat there and said, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't you head that? And I was like, I knew that was coming.
Well, that's probably the other issue. That's why some people don't rise to the challenge. They either, I don't want to handle it. I don't want to handle it. Let someone else work. This is where Fleet needs to rise to the challenge and go, we might not all of us are going, but if you're going to Vegas, let's start this event and you say you're going and you guys plan it out. And someone in that group will hopefully rise to the challenge and say, I'm going to Vegas. I'll head this event.
I mean, it would be a great thing to talk about at EC and Admiralty.
But going forward, as SFI, we really need to be on the
So,
ball for those big events. Like Vegas is considered to be high profile. Even us in Australia know about it. You know.
but well, I mean, either the EC or the AB need to sit down and go. These are the major events. These are what we're going to call touchstones.
Yeah,
I consider in the world.
I consider
go,
Vegas.
This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Who do we have that was going anyways?
Well, for the next one, yeah, because I consider Vegas to be the Star Trek equivalent of the Celebration Star Wars events.
No.
You know, not no. What do you mean no?
No.
Yes.
First of all, the Star Trek Celebration events are always in a family-friendly area, and Vegas is primarily an adult-oriented area.
That has nothing to do with it.
It does.
Okay, listen what I'm trying to get at. Listen to what I'm Listen to what I'm trying to.
People that are.
You are comparing age stuff. Which is.
No, different. I'm actually. For people.
My point is on the level. I'm talking about the level of the event. Like, Vegas is practically on par with Celebration Star Wars type events, where it's like it's huge. The whole world knows about it. And not really exactly. But I mean, like, you have Celebration Europe, Celebration.
By the way,
all these Star Wars fans travel across the planet just to attend one.
Chicago is the official Star Trek event now.
I've never heard of it, so it's not really that official.
Actually, it's the one that's licensed. Vegas has no longer got the license.
So you're sort of focusing on other aspects, but what I'm talking about is what's high profile outside of America. And pretty much everyone knows about Vegas, the Star Trek Vegas event. Like, people will travel across the planet to attend that. And the same thing with Celebration Star Wars. I know friends here who fly all the way to the States. Like, Dragon Con's another example. Like, people who will fly from another country just to attend Dragon Con or Vegas or Star Wars Celebration. These are huge, high-profile stuff that media people show up to, and you hear all about it afterwards.
It used to be the Los Angeles Star Trek convention.
I do remember that.
They were coming from all over the place.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, the events that are so huge, people travel.
Always there.
Yeah, like those.
Everybody knew about it. I think
it's like the Comic-Con ones, like the LA Comic-Con and the New York Comic-Con at the Javits Center. Like, they're so huge that the whole planet hears about it. Not the little, this is a tiny little convention in Kentucky. Like, okay.
Yeah,
I've never heard of
they
it.
Don't,
You
they
don't
don't hear
care?
about the 500,000 people that arrive in Miami. They hear about the 3.9 million people that show up in Las Vegas.
But that's what I'm talking about. The high profile conventions that attract people from around the world because, hey, it's so huge. I want to be part of that. And they fly in to see it. Regardless if it's Star Wars, Star Trek, like the big ones. Comic-Con's huge. Dragon Con's massive.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. It's not about what I'm saying. It's not about the age limits in Vegas. It's just which ones are so high profile that people will travel around the world to go attend.
Well, everybody comes to Florida, so
Well, yeah, they do. Yeah, especially since the last few times they've been doing Star Wars ones there as well.
Yeah, and Disney has been opening up for Star Wars conventioneers.
Oh, they're milking that.
Oh, good God, yes. As far as I'm concerned, Disney is not right until they put Klinger into Disney princess category. Has to be the yellow chiffon. I'm sorry.
But that being said, about Vegas being family friendly, well, there are certain places, yeah, where if you're 18 and down, you just can't go. But there seems to be plenty of people that bring their kids there to Vegas anyway.
Yeah, and not only that, you got to understand Vegas is okay. You got the Strip, that's mainly where you want all the adults. The big convention center that all these places use is not on the Strip.
Yeah,
it's well off the Strip, and it's for the people that live in Sutherland or the people that live in all the different neighborhoods all the way around, and they work in Las Vegas and they have kids and they run schools and they're school teachers and doctors and nurses and those people.
Yeah.
No, I get it, Greg, and I think it's one of those things that definitely needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
And kept in the mind shop of like, okay, so obviously, ideally, there'll be 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 touchstone events in a year.
Yeah.
Where they sit there and go, okay, this is a big thing
this is huge, yeah.
This is in Region 20. Who in Region 20, is going to be there?
Yeah.
Great. Can you help us this way?
Yeah.
So that we have somebody who can sit there and answer the questions of like, where are you going to meet? What pictures are you going to take?
That's it. Well, now we know.
Timetable?
Well, starting now, like when is Vegas happening again? Put up an event saying, "Are you going to Vegas?" Yeah, I am. Okay.
None of us are on.
You start to gather all the ones that are going to Vegas.
Vegas, Los Angeles, Tampa, which is the next big one, especially Star Wars and Star Trek both get hit there.
Yeah, and any of them, any of the big ones,
any of those that you're hitting, let the rest of SFI know. If anyone comes, tell them this is the general area where we can meet an hour before it opens or an hour.
Yeah. Like, are you traveling across the country or the world to attend this event? Yes. Well, you need to say you're going to that event and meet the other Starfleet guys going, so you can all get together and shake hands and trade Star Trek merch and do whatever the hell you guys want and enjoy yourselves. Yeah. Make sure you get plenty of pictures for the rest of us who can't go. And it looks good in the end because it shows us, look at that big Starfleet crowd.
Yeah.
Rather, because you see the 501st pictures like, oh, we went to Star Wars, whatever, Europe. And you see like 300 stormtroopers in a group photo. That's what we're lacking. We're lacking that because we're not organizing it.
Not to mention Darth Vader. You've got a couple of.
But you know what I mean, like
running around.
But that's what I mean. The 501st have these great group photos because they organize something beforehand.
But you see, that's what I've seen with Sci-Fi Barto, and that's why I brought this up now. It's a year in advance, guys.
Yeah, better plan. Yeah.
We plan now. We're working together with the local chapters, but we want more people from everywhere else.
Not only that, this has a beneficial effect in the future. Like you start going, okay, so the first gathering was 20 people. The next one was 30. Next one was 50. Next one's 100. Oh, now we're starting to build up our numbers because everyone wants to go to this event because that's even a bigger event than IC now because 300 SFI members show up.
Right.
That's what we have to plan for.
And you're working with
and then Stag. Yeah, and then Greg, and then somebody gets butthurt of some event being bigger than IC. Because that's what's going to happen in SFI.
Too bad.
But that is what will happen.
But
But
no,
you know what? Know what?
do
Then
you
you
understand?
start planning ICs around that event.
You either plan them around the event or you plan them like, okay, the event is Saturday, Friday night we're doing the IC, then we're going to hit
Yes,
here.
exactly.
Well,
And
I
that's
mean,
300. We need a room for 300 people because we're
hey,
growing that big.
remember
There's like
that we
7
do have some
hotels that'll
bad
say,
taste
what kind of a discount
in
did
our
you
mouths
fill
for
you up?
that.
So again, oh, you guys are overlapping. What was that?
Remember, we have some bad taste in our mouth about that, about doing things with cons. So,
Well, yeah, that was paying for one. I'm talking about just attending it.
well,
There's no charge if you attend. No
Yeah,
charge.
well, no. We're just saying if we had 300 people, we're going to need a higher room.
If you go to hotels, that's on the individual. That's,
Yeah.
hey, that's fine.
yours.
Well, with
If you do
BartoCon,
it as a
it's
group,
no con,
they
but
will.
there's a
Yeah.
charge to go to the bigger cons.
Oh yeah, always.
Right. There are some bigger ones.
Well,
but-
people will attend them if they go, "Hey, I want to go to this con because there's a ton of actors I want to meet, but also there's 300 Starfleet members I want to catch up with. This is going to be better than IC. No offense to IC, but when you have 300 Starfleet members showing up, you want to be at that event.
and that's
we'll see.
it's like seeing all of those stormtroopers, four
Yeah.
platoons walking down the street, and you got
And what if there's a parade in that town? Suddenly we have an army of like Starfleet members walking down the parade.
Well, I can't win the parade. I've tried.
Oh, I've done a parade.
If you were here, I would have sent you to the parade instead of had you on our commissioning ceremony.
Well, I mean,
We missed the parade because
you were doing that. Yeah, I understand that, but like,
Just one
our
second.
con does have a parade, and I did put it forth to our members, but it's on a Friday, and most of our members just aren't free, so I had to can it.
that happens.
I mean, the one in Vulcan is usually on a Saturday, so. But I mean, there's always going to be a challenge. So,
Fortunately,
Fran's got the right idea.
Unfortunately, guys and
room
girls,
parties.
I'm running the.
Oh, we got a few of
broadcast,
those that
and
I
we
miss
gotta-
those room. I miss those room parties.
We are Sean and I have to get up at the crack of dawn,
I've got a meeting in 2 hours, so I better get ready for it.
and it's
So-
You all have fun.
Well, it's daytime here. I mean,
I know that.
that's natural light coming out from there.
I know. I have been on another screen of mine. There's the low cat like Mark's crown in another screen on my computer right now. So yes, I'm well aware that it's sunny out.
All right. Unfortunately, live long and prosper. I'll be seeing the sun up in about 4 hours.
You enjoy that.
Have a great evening.
and I'm